Okay, so we're gonna keep working on this still life. We're gonna use color. You don't really have to be so precise, but just to give abstract feel of color changes. And I like the blue against the orange. Again, the same way, look for the light. Like how you study the value, you don't want to lose that, but using color. So your brain has to work even harder to determine the value and the color change. So let's do this. First, sketch basic shape. Use round 12, starting off with light color, warm color, and then just to have wet the paper at the same time. And the shadow, I like purple, cool purple color, right? And since that paper is wet, gives a blurring effect, which is what shadow is. There's not much hard edge on that shadow, but have nice and blending technique with a wet on wet. Getting into the object, still kind of keep it warm and light color first. Orange. I'm just putting some of that reflective color on the shadow area. Redder color. Getting a little bit of shadow darker here and there where the still life sits. It has that shadow, cast shadow, and some of that shadow is darker. This cast shadow from the apple and color ran inside, so I'm gonna lift the color a little bit with red and orange. It's okay, this is shadow, so it can be darker, cooler color in here. I'm gonna just darken this area a little bit to balance right and left. And get into dark on the object. And I'm gonna push the dark inside. Inside is warm color. Orange used to have shadow, adding Alizarin Crimson, and then just getting into a little bit of textures. Try not to lose the light. And then the apple, darker, the darker color. And stem area is a little green inside, so I'll tint it a little bit of green. A nice contrast with the red, so just put the green a little more right here. Expand that color a little bit. Darken the shadow. Alright, and this is very dark right here. Now the paper is getting drier, so you can have hard edge. And get back to the cup. Alright, and inside again, darken it. The orange, pull the orange. I'll just have a little bit of blue on the coolest area. And to define this edge, I'll go over with that cup. I like that little orange bleeding, so I just to go around without getting outlined, so have a little bit of movement still. And here too, apple can be darker on the back. Push that apple back by darkening edges. Again, like have broken line to create that separation but still have unity. And have cast shadow here, very dark color with a little bit of red in it because the apple is casting colors as well as shadow. And here is casting blue to the apple, so cool that color down, push that darkness. And stem area. Stem is like a brown, orange, green, all mixed with that little red and gray. Okay. Tip is dark and red. And the right side of the stem is darker. And inside here, I'm going to use the skinny brush so I can see the detail a little bit better. So it's like a shadow in here around the stem. And on this side, the stem casting shadow right here. Has the stem too, so there's white highlight in the middle of the stem, so I'm going to try to take that color out. Okay, then around there is green, so have green, a little bit of green is surrounding the stem. There's a crease, switching to bigger brush so I don't get into so much details. Darker orange is kind of shadow for the crease. And then one side of the crease has texture, so or shadow. So I'm gonna just use the dabbing brush mark. Now tune out the whole picture. Okay, so defining the rim right here. I can add some shadow at the lip. I can add shadow on this side of the lip to clean up a little bit. And right here, I can tint the color of the cup here. I can even create darker color to push that shadow area. And here is cast shadow. And just define the top. I can darken some area, shaping it up from outside. And I like that orange. I can push that stem part when it's a little drier. And the apple right here is getting a little confusing, so I'll just expand that shadow. And I can push that shadow here too. And the orange looks good. I can push that cooler color. That texture at the same time. Stem part, push it with a dark and cooler. Inside of that cup, I can make darker. Define this edge. I see shadow behind it. And right here, how to define, I see darker right here too. I can add a little bit behind shadow. And right here, I can define it because this is darker, looks like. So I can lift some color to define the edge. A little bit straighter. Right here, and right here I want to make it a little darker just to balance this dark. And right here I can push that shadow, push the shadow here to focus on the middle. So try to break the line, but it does connects. Right here I can give that line a little bit of accented dark right here, and that connects to the dark in the middle right here. Right here has the white part, which isn't necessary, so I'm gonna try to touch those two objects to close the gap. Tone that color a little bit. That's about it. I'm gonna push this stem area a little bit more. Just want to break that line a little bit. Yeah, that's better. So it doesn't have that line cuts off the composition. Just a little bit, taking some color off here so that white it blends to dark. Okay, that's good for now for the exercise. So sign it at the bottom. So the monochromatic and the color comparison. This study is really good before getting into color, so you can see where it needs to be dark. Right here, dark, right there, dark in here, and then some of the gloss pushes dark against the light, so the saving of light, that rim edges one side, and then cloth. The value study is much easier than dealing with color, so if you have trouble with the color, you can limit the color and concentrate on that value changes. If you like to depict volume of still life or anything that requires volume, you really have to study value. So that's our study. Don't feel frustrated or stressed out over it. It's gonna be just to exercise and just loosen it up, and it's no big deal if you can't depict. There's a way to express with that watercolor besides making something 3D. All right.